Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and congratulations to each of you on your nomination. Mr. Parker, I want to come to you first and talk a little bit about esports, and I'm going to ask you to give me your response in writing rather than taking the time today. I represent Tennessee, and of course, we have the Navy Recruiting Command. They're in Millington, Tennessee. Very pleased to have it in Tennessee. And it's done its own esports team, Goats and Glory. So what I'd like to hear from you is how you think this helps with potential recruits, how this could be built out. And Ms. Schaefer, I want to come to you, and I'll give you this one for a written response to the Army's talent management strategy, which is going to be important for 21st century warfare. And having the young people who are going to have the skill sets to utilize technology is going to be important. So I'd like to hear from you how you see this helping with recruitment and retention for the Army, making the Army a more desirable employer, and then how you can utilize that with the National Guard. And as I have visited deployed troops and talked with some of the commanders, we've talked about the need to recruit the skill sets that someone is using in their day job that can be applicable. And as you're well aware, we have the Guard's Intel unit housed in Nashville. So I'd like that one from you in writing, if I may. And Mr. Chaudhry, am I saying that correct?
That's correct, Senator.
All right. I know that Senator Inhofe talked with you about the July 21 op-ed. And what I'd like from you, a yes or no, would you use machine learning and AI to monitor military personnel's electronic footprint?
Senator, no.
You will not. Okay. And we know that AI has been assessed, and this is the ACLU, to deepen racial and economic inequities. And multiple independent studies have uncovered both gender and racial bias in AI systems that are sold by Microsoft and Amazon and IBM and others. So how do you square looking for racism with a tool that is accused of racial bias?
Thank you, Senator. And the article that you referenced, the intent of that was to enter the public discussion on the issue of extremism. And it fell short, and I regret that.
Okay, I'm just asking how you square.
Yeah, allow me to be clear on the issue. The constitutional rights of our military members should be protected at all times, and I believe that.
So you are committing that you're going to protect their civil liberties?
Senator, you have my commitment that I will protect military members, their civil liberties under the Constitution. Okay.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about DEI and DEI training. What we have seen, there's been so much talk this week about the 6 million man-hours that have been used on DEI instead of training our men and women to do the job that they are recruited and that they are prepared to do, defending this country. So why don't you talk a little bit about, for the record, how you see DEI being central to military readiness?
Thank you, Senator. Diversity and inclusion is important to our readiness because it ensures we have a force that brings in all points of views and is representative of our nation. If confirmed, I will make sure that I follow DoD guidance on diversity and inclusion and ensure that I execute programs as
Okay.
appropriate from DoD
Do you
guidance.
prioritize DEI over military readiness and the ability to combat malign actors such as Iran, Russia, and China?
Senator, diversity and inclusion is important to readiness, and readiness is absolutely crucial to addressing the threats our nation faces. If confirmed, I'll make sure that our national security interests are addressed from that angle, not prioritizing one or the other, but understanding that it's a integrative process. But the readiness of our force is absolutely critical, and you have my commitment that I will prioritize that in our national security interests.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think we all want the best for our men and women in uniform. Thank you all
Yes,
for
ma'am.
being here today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Blackburn. Now, let me recognize Senator Inhofe for a question, additional
well,
question.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that. First of all, Mr. Chaudhary, I heard your response, and I was very pleased to hear that. Is it my understanding, is it accurate, your response to the senator, that this is not a practice that you are anticipating, or better yet, a stronger statement that you wouldn't use this practice for that type of fact-finding? What is your position on that issue?
Senator, my statement to Senator Blackburn was accurate, and I would not use that technology in any way to interfere with the constitutional rights of our military members. And I'll make sure that, if confirmed, I keep that at my highest priority.
Well, let me thank you very much, and I'm glad we had a chance for that clarification. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Chairman, thank you.
Thank you, Senator Inhofe. Now, let me recognize via WebEx Senator King.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.